Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got Robert Brooke on. He's with a company called Stevia First Corp, and they're out of Yuba City, California. And Stevia is awesome, by the way. I'm a huge fan of this product called Zevia, which is a soda that is made with stevia. It's about the only soda that touches my lips, and it's the one of the only sodas out there that doesn't do any harm. In fact, there's a great argument that can be made that so-called sugar-free sodas are as harmful or more harmful than those with sugar, unless there's something made with stevia. So obviously, you're a big fan of this stuff, Robert.
Hi, Kevin. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, by the way. And certainly, we're a huge fan of stevia, and also the Zevia cola products that use stevia. And stevia is something that's been called the holy grail of sweeteners for the industry. It's something that has great potential to displace sugar and also the artificial sweeteners that so many people are trying to avoid.
Literally have cans stacked in my garage of this stuff. I love this stuff. So tell me what's different about your company when it comes to this product.
Right. So we're an agricultural biotechnology company in California that's working on modernizing the supply chain of stevia. And so we're using quite novel patented fermentation technology to do that, as well as using modern automated agricultural methods to do it. And we're doing something unique in that we're working to be the first American supplier of stevia. All stevia production today comes from overseas, mostly from China and some from South America as well.
80% of it from China.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, even more than that, probably.
Wow. That's incredible. So, and obviously, I always get worried. I read these crazy articles about, for example, tea coming from China being flattened and dried by trucks driving over it that are using leaded gasoline, which means that lead is being blown on the tea before it goes into boxes. Are those stories just outrageous, or do you think they're actually happening?
Well, in certain circumstances, crazy things happen, and they certainly don't have the same environmental and regulatory standards that we have here. Thankfully, there have been no issues similar to that with stevia to date. But if what we're working to do as a company is to offer consumers and also the multinational companies that are racing to incorporate stevia into their products an American option, and if they have an option that it's a locally grown and produced supply of stevia that tastes great and competes on cost, it's a no-brainer for them to go with us versus someone else.
By the way, what is the website name?
It is steviafirst.com.
Yeah, and competing on cost is a great point because, in China, they still have essentially slave labor compared to what we're paid here. How do you do that? How do you make it competitively? I will say this. This is something that most Americans don't know, but our technology, and this may be what does it here, our technology in agriculture makes us perceived internationally as a dumper of cheap foods on other countries' markets. That's we talk about cheap goods from China. Well, a lot of countries talk about cheap agricultural products from the U.S. because of our ability to produce on economy of scale. Is that how we can be competitive here?
Exactly. That's one way. One way is our fermentation technology. A second way is exactly what you said. It's agricultural innovation. We're in Yuba City, California, which is just north of Sacramento, and near UC Davis, a premier agricultural research university. And it's akin to being the Silicon Valley for agriculture. You bring a new crop there, oftentimes you can increase the yields of it by 2, 3, 4 times, and by using modernized, automated cultivation and harvesting methods. And then what you have at the end of the day is what you're talking about. A dramatically improved method of producing the crop, and so great efficiencies and economies of scale.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So, what's your strategy? I mean, you've got a pretty stronghold here going on with the Chinese. How are you going to break that?
Right. So it's just coming into work every day, and teaming up with growers in California and with researchers to modernize that supply chain, and at the same time we're bringing a pretty unique approach where we're working with technology that was developed about 10 years ago, where you can overexpress all of the same enzymes from the stevia leaf to make the product taste better and to eliminate some of the issues related to sustainability and scalability. So essentially, at the end of the day, using that technology, you have the ability to greatly diminish the amount of stevia leaf that you need to grow in order to produce the same amount of stevia extract.
Yeah, very interesting. Learning a little bit about the production of stevia, which has really, really changed the way we look at sweeteners and artificial sweeteners. And there's just been so much, right from day one, we worried about the pink stuff causing cancer, which they finally concluded a couple of decades later that it probably didn't. But, there's just always been a cloud, even issues about whether or not it's contributing to mental issues and cognitivity and things like that. Not so much the pink stuff, but some of the other ones out there. So to find something this refreshingly safe, to me, seems like it's worth the extra effort to look for, don't you think?
Well, absolutely. You talk about the pink stuff, the artificial sweeteners, and the big bogeyman is sugar itself, and its contribution to obesity and diabetes, and it disproportionately affects the urban poor, and it's a public health travesty, and and multinational companies are facing a backlash, and they need a solution. And to them, stevia is a solution. It's something that tastes great. It's something that because it's plant derived, consumers they love it. And they already know about it, and so. It's a solution for them to reduce the amount of sugar in their beverages, introduce more healthy products to the mainstream, and still, be able to grow the company and support those revenue streams.
Well, I appreciate you being with us talking about Stevia First. That's Stevia, Stevia. First, FIRST.com. And what are you in Northern California or the midsection? Where's that at?
It's Northern California, just outside the Bay Area. Yeah,
just outside the Bay Area. I love that area, by the way. And it's one of those places I love to visit, but who can afford to live there? But I enjoy visiting. I go there every year. So very good. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin.
You bet. When we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, though, the best content here shows up down the hall over at usdailyreview.com, our sister news website, one of the fastest growing in influence, according to Technorati and other monitors of such things. Make sure you check it out right over there at usdailyreview.com. Like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.